Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Been a busy work day. Getting a lot of stuff done. Looking rough. Need to go take a shower and get ready for Shabbat, where it's time for me to kind of take it easy for a while. Anyways, still talking about this solar storm, and I want to take a different approach in this video, so please don't just say, oh, it's another one, let's just click off of it. And then all of the people that want to, tell me how crazy I am because I'm talking about this can go ahead and you can comment in the comment section, whatever. So to bring you up to date on what's transpired, and of course, yes, I know what I'm telling you is what we're getting from official news sources, is that the first of the 6, and they don't know if this first one is a combination of 2 or 3 or if it's one on its own. There's just no way to know, apparently, according to what I've been reading and listening to. But it hit at noon today, approximately. It wasn't supposed to hit till like 6 or 7 tonight. And it was pretty dramatic, way more dramatic than what they were expected. In fact, we topped out at a G4 storm, a geomagnetic storm, and things just were like off the charts almost. I mean, they were really high, and it went from kind of nothing to an extreme level very, very rapidly. And there's a lot more coming. There's at least 3 or 4 more, maybe more, that are coming at us that's going to hit over the next, 12, 24-hour period. Again, it's hard to determine, I guess, the exact time period of impact. But what it tells us is that it could get much worse, okay? It's being reported in mainstream news that the U.S. government, the National Weather Service, and the NOAA has issued the first solar storm warning in 20 years. That doesn't mean this is the first time in 20 years that there's been a G4 geomagnetic storm. It's just the first time in 20 years that they've issued a warning, because this one is more severe than what we've had in 20 years. This one's a doozy. It's a big one, or so they say. And so the possibility of things getting worse and experiencing, I've already heard from people personally, seen online, people reporting that certain, internet things are down, that radio systems, GPS is kind of fuzzy and not working, things like that. So that's that, and it, in other words, it could get worse. They're already getting aurora borealis lights down into New Zealand and over into Russia and Ukraine and places all over Europe. They're seeing it, so there's already an effect there. Now remember, the severity of this is from a couple of things. It's not because the X-class solar flares were so severe. It's because they were back-to-back, and they've kind of started to bunch up and combine, which means that they could be, that the solar impact to the planet could be way more worse, way more significant than what was just released out of the sun. The other thing is that our magnetic field has been weakening. It's been weakening for years. The government has stopped letting anyone know what that is. They've kind of kept that hush-hush, so we don't know how bad. But the estimates is that it's weakened anywhere between 50 and 200 times less or weaker than what it was during the 1850s during the Carrington event. So that means that we probably don't need something as strong and severe as what happened during the Carrington event back in the 1850s to do the same kind of damage. I mean, that's just it. So, I would be cautious. If you're running off of a solar system, maybe you should disconnect the solar panels tonight. That might help. It may not affect it at all. I don't know. I know there's some, you don't sound like you know much. Well, I'm not an expert on this, but I'm telling you that you should probably kind of prepare for this one. Time's running out on the preparing, though, because the first one's already hit, and the next ones are probably hitting close to when you watch this video. So you may not have much time, but yeah, it could get bad. It may not. In fact, I'd say the odds are still in the favor of not much happening. I don't think nothing will happen, but I don't think much would happen to have great effect to us personally. Now, moving on to something else that's part of this, is this real, or is this something going on behind the scenes? And maybe it is real and it's worse than what we expect, or maybe there's something else going on. And I'll admit that the possibility of this being faked is real. I think just about anything anymore can be faked, especially when it's the government that's in control of the information and they have all the things to fake something. So I get it, that that's a possibility. But if they're trying to fake something like this, then what's really going on? You know, why would they fake something like this if they're not doing it to get something happen? So that tells me that something could be happening to you. Either way, either this is really a big deal, or if they're faking it, then something else is going on that's a big deal. Either way, probably should kind of get ready for it. You know, especially happening after the eclipse that happened, a month or so ago. And then the possibility, you know, the eclipse happened. The last time that particular eclipse happened and the way that it happened was back when the New Madrid fault line went crazy back in the early 1800s. And then now we have this happening, and this will most likely cause potential earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. So are we potentially going to see something like the New Madrid fault line go off in the next 30, 60 days? I don't know. It's possible, or even less time than that. Those are all possibilities. But I want to mention to you that CBS News is reporting that the government is kind of in this frantic state of kind of getting things ready. And the reason why I mention that is because there's some information being spread online that I admit could absolutely be totally fake. In fact, there's nothing whatsoever to back this up. It's very, very thin, whatever, intel that's being posted online. And it's a guy that claims that he's previously worked for the DOD and all that kind of stuff, and that they're sending out text alerts to DOD employees and letting them know that this is a bad deal, to stock up on batteries, to get ready, to hunker down, stay, you know, pay attention to the news, all that kind of stuff, which has people online that buy into that kind of thing, kind of like frantic. Oh, wow, this is bad. Typically, I would disregard something like that as nothing, but around the same time that came out, CBS News posted this, which kind of goes with it a little bit, indicating that there are people in the government that are a little frantic, and they're kind of, you know, maybe even getting in their bunkers or getting their stuff ready because they feel that there's a potential for this to be that severe. So the question remains is it really that severe? Is it worse than what we're thinking? Enough to cause the government to get into this frantic mode? Or is that part of the psyop and there's something else going on? We may never know. But either way, something could be going on that's serious. And I think that is enough for us to be getting ready. I wouldn't have, personally, if it's me, and it is me, because I'm telling you what my plans are, is to not go anywhere. You know, we're not going anywhere. We don't go anywhere on Shabbat unless we go to a fellowship service. Other than that, we're not running around doing stuff. So that's no problem. Sunday will be the same way. You know, I'm going to probably do stuff around the house, not go anywhere. We're, you know, kind of keeping an eye on stuff. You know, we've reached out to family members. Hey, you know, if something happens, you can't get a hold of us, this is how you can get a hold of us. I've tried to notify as many people as I can personally that, hey, I don't know if you're paying attention to this kind of stuff. I know you may not watch my videos, but this is happening. Stocked up on stuff, filled up the truck tank, you know, that kind of stuff, filled up the other vehicle, just in case. And I think that's a good thing to do because this could be serious. Unplug solar panels. If you want to put some spare radios in a Faraday cage, you know, you've got things like this, spares and stuff that you keep around. This is one of my extras. Maybe you want to put that in a Faraday cage or bury it 18 inches below the surface. Wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't think it's crazy to do that. Is it necessary? No one knows. We won't know until after it all happens. But it does look like, according to the data, and again, I understand the data could be all faked, but according to the data that we're already getting, it looks to be probably worse than what has been anticipated. And so I would suggest to do something to kind of get yourselves ready for this. Now, that doesn't mean you get scared. We don't want to get into this fear mode. This isn't fear mongering. This isn't panic. This isn't run out and spend all your money and, these are my last days on earth kind of thing. No, we don't want to do that. But we certainly want to be vigilant and kind of stay ahead of the game. And if something did happen, even if it was temporary, even if, say, the internet and cell phones were knocked out for a few days, it's quite possible just a couple of 3 days of that could cause a lot of people to panic and go buy all the stuff, right? Well, maybe you should stay ahead of that. And if you need to stock up, if you know that in the next few days, you're probably going to need to buy this or that in groceries or animal feed or whatever it is, maybe you should do that ahead of the time. That's just being smart. It's not spreading fear. It's not, going into this panic mode. Will this be anything? It's possible that in fact, it's probably still in the probable area that it's going to be nothing. But it certainly looks serious enough that we should take notice and get ready. So tonight, tomorrow, I would not just be frozen in fear. Don't just have your face stuck in your phone or your computer constantly. Live life, spend time with the family, open your Bible, read out of it, do whatever you would normally do on a Friday or night or a Saturday. But it doesn't hurt to kind of pay attention to what's going on. If nothing else, so that you just know. Other than that, it's just a wait and see game. I don't believe personally this is the big one, but we don't know. And that's why we prepare. That's why we continually are getting our houses in order. That's why I've been doing this for years. Not because I'm trying to get you ready for one singular event that's going to change our lives forever, but because of all the multiple events that happen on a daily basis. Breaking your leg, getting sick, losing your job, a flood, a tornado, an ice storm, a war, a pandemic, an eclipse, a solar flare, all of these things that could happen that could alter our lives can all be taken care of on a personal level just by getting yourselves ready a little bit more and being more self-sufficient so that you're not dependent upon the system when it fails. It doesn't have to collapse. It can just fail temporarily and cause havoc. And that's why you need to be getting yourselves ready and your houses in order. Preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.